All right, so here's where we're at. We are reaching the end of our decision-making journey. And this is where we have to consider the linked decisions. What you decide today could influence your choices tomorrow. And your goals for tomorrow should influence your choice for today. The key to dealing effectively with linked decisions is to isolate the near-term issues while gathering the information needed to resolve those that will arise later. Our final presentation is One Connection Can Transform a Life by Debra Livingston. Debra is the CEO at Reemployability, the largest national provider of specialty return to work and transitional employment services. Debra has more than 20 years experience in the workers' compensation industry, serving various executive capacities such as Director of Claims at Staff Leasing. She holds a bachelor's degree in marketing from Florida State University. She is a board member of Center State Bank and the Spring of Tampa Bay. Debra was named Businesswoman of the Year by the Tampa Bay Business Journal in 2019 and a Woman to Watch by Business Insurance in 2017. Take us home, Debra Livingston.
It's the winter of '79. I'm 15 years old. My twin brother Joe and younger sister Victoria and me are sitting on the floor in our home in New York. Mom and Dad are over there on the couch. And my dad says, "Kids, I've got some bad news. I've got to go away." "Wait, what did you say? Go away? Where are you going?" He said, "I can't tell you where I'm going. You won't be coming with me. And while I'm gone, you'll finish up school, pack up your things, and move to Florida." The next morning, Dad was gone. He had embezzled money from the company that he was working for. He left the country to buy time. It didn't work. He went to prison. Soon, we were living in my grandmother's house in Florida. It was stupid hot. I had no friends, nothing to do, no cable TV. And did I mention no friends? I was going into junior high. Well, in New York, I would have been going to high school. But here in Florida, 9th grade, that was still junior high. Another thing to hate about this stupid place. When I walked into school that day, I was petrified. I was so scared. I felt so alone. I didn't know a single person. In PE, I met Mary. Mary was a new kid too, and it felt good to not be the only one. While we were talking, Coach Beretta walked up, and he asked me, "Do you play basketball?" Well, at that point, I hadn't picked up a ball a day in my life. But guess what? I showed up, I learned the game, I practiced hard, and it didn't even matter that when I scored my first basket, it was for the opposing team. You see, I had made connections, I had my tribe. That changed everything for me. I gained confidence, I felt like I belonged, and I turned out to be a pretty good basketball player. I learned in that moment that one person, one solid connection can make a complete difference in your life. Fast forward to the late 80s, I had the typical retail job, terrible hours, nights, weekends, holidays, and a long path to that dream of becoming a buyer in Manhattan. I had a college friend, Suzanne, who worked for a company called Aetna. They were hiring claims adjusters. I applied. They were hiring the top 5. Well, I was number 6. But eventually the phone rang. I was hired. But now what? I did not even know what a claims adjuster was, let alone how to be one. But then again, I didn't know how to play basketball either. I decided to learn the game and create my own path again. And when I walked into Aetna on that first day, I was scared. I was that 15-year-old girl again walking into school for the first time. But this time, I'm excited. I can get through this. I've done this before. The last time I met a person, I made a connection, and that changed everything for me. This time, that person, that connection was Jim Greer. Jim Greer was my mentor. He saw me through multiple career moves, both inside and outside of Aetna. And in fact, it was Jim who encouraged me to start my own business. That business became Reemployability. And when we hit that 5-year mark, things were really taking off. We had just landed our first big deal with AIG. We were making a difference. We were changing people's lives. It wasn't until 2008 when I realized a war was brewing. My business partner was chaos. I was order. I had to figure out how to bring order to the chaos. I needed to push a button and suit up like Iron Man so that nothing could penetrate the Iron Man-like armor I needed to protect my company. Not conflict, not manipulation, not manic mood swings or the way our employees were treated, or the destruction I faced every morning when I walked in the door. You see, there was no plan B. There was too much at stake. My family, our employees, the people we serve, thousands of nonprofit partners, injured workers like Walter, all counting on me to tame that chaos. Eventually, I figured it out. I tamed that chaos and my business partner left the company. But now let me tell you about Walter. Walter is an injured worker. He was injured while driving his truck. He suffered a terrible injury to his right arm. And the first thing that hit Walter following his injury was the same thing that would hit any of us. How am I going to support my family? Eventually, Walter was referred to our program. And when he heard about it, he was not all that eager. His first response to it, "What do you mean I'm going to volunteer? How does that help my family? How does that help me recover? I'm a truck driver. I drive a truck." Well, Walter would learn that he would get paid by his employer, his exact same wage, in fact. And when he learned that, he softened a bit, but he was still pretty skeptical about the whole idea. We placed Walter at the Fort White Community Thrift Shop. The place was musty, cluttered, filled to the brim with donations and old clothes. Walter didn't want to be there, but he gave it a try. And once he started working, even though Walter wasn't driving his truck, he met people in his community. He made connections. He was earning a paycheck. He found purpose. He had gotten off the couch and transformed his life. We are all here because of people like Walter, people who are injured, scared, and uncertain about their future. At Reemployability, we place injured workers like Walter at nonprofit organizations throughout the United States. This has amounted to over 11 million hours of community service, creating income, purpose, and a path to recovery to over 50,000 injured workers. All those years ago, sitting in that living room when my father told us he was going away and everything I knew in my world would change forever, is no different than Walter sitting in his living room after an injury, wondering if everything in his world is about to change. When my father went to prison, it seemed like the end of the world. I could have never imagined that him walking through those prison doors would open up all the amazing doors for me. Coach Beretta, Suzanne at Aetna, my mentor, Jim Greer, and even the chaos of my former business partner has brought me to this place. I am Debra Livingston. My company is Reemployability, and we transform lives every single day. As a matter of fact, it's what we all do in this industry. Each one of us has an opportunity to be that one person, that one connection that can transform a life.